Welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish, and thank you for tuning in. Last week, I had just tested negative for COVID, and the following day, I had tested positive. So, unfortunately, this week I've been recovering from COVID. Appears to have been the Omicron variant. Wasn't all that severe, but I think I've developed a sinus infection because of it, though. Which sucks, but oh well. Unfortunately, my whole family ended up getting it, but we're doing a lot better. I mean, the kid and the wife bounced back after like a day, so and I'm the one that's fully vaccinated, which is odd, but oh well. I don't think that the vaccination has that much efficacy against this new variant, to tell you the truth, because every single person I work with is getting it. So yeah, and all this kind of relates to another interesting thing that happened in the news this week with the whole situation pertaining to Spotify. Neil Young basically canceled himself from Spotify, and I think Joni Mitchell followed suit shortly after. All in regards to the whole Joe Rogan podcast, which is kind of hypocritical to me because Neil Young has fought for years for freedom of speech and kind of counterculture, and now he's rebelling against the very thing that he's spoken out for all these years, but that's kind of odd. Excuse me, sorry. I mean, I've always been in favor of vaccination. I'm not going to say that I'm not. I mean, but I don't have any opposition to anyone presenting any other viewpoints, because that's kind of one of the things our country is founded on. So it's kind of ridiculous to me for him to pull himself off of Spotify for that, which is a little crazy. Like, I enjoy Joe Rogan's show. I don't always agree with everything, but I think it's a great show, and I don't understand. Now all of a sudden the whole older counterculture movement has become very entrenched within within following the rules and being kind of conforming to society, which is very odd to me. But yeah, that's if anything, Neil Young should have done this years ago, because of the low compensation that musicians get from Spotify. If anything, Spotify has always treated its musicians horribly, so I don't understand why he didn't have any opposition to that, yet someone with a differing viewpoint comes along and he has opposition to that. So, hey, it's his choice. Once again, Neil Young is relevant in the news, so, I mean, whether or not you agree or disagree with him, that brings some attention to Neil Young. I have no problem with Neil Young. I've always enjoyed his music. Same thing with Joni Mitchell, but it seems a little hypocritical, him doing this at this juncture, with this whole situation. Especially considering when, like Joe Rogan had a great response. He had a great video response to this. And one of the things he brings up is the fact that a lot of ideas that seemed radical just months ago now are accepted as mainstream. So, him getting kind of canceled on because of that, and he really hasn't. He's still, Spotify has stood behind him. So, but being brought to task for bringing opposing viewpoints is kind of silly. But hey, that's the world we live in at this point. So, but yeah. So that was kind of interesting. Like I said, I've been dealing with COVID for a week now, and you can obviously hear the effects right now in my voice. But one good thing about being sick, though, I guess, if there is any good thing, is I did get to catch up on some reading. I finished reading Wrestling for My Life, Shawn Michaels book. It was pretty good. I mean, it's definitely written from a Christian perspective, so if you're not a Christian, it probably wouldn't. You probably wouldn't enjoy the book as much. It goes through kind of his walk with Christ and how it relates to his professional wrestling career and life. if you're expecting, nitty gritty details about, about his affairs with ring rats and whatnot, and his drug use back in the day, you're not going to find that in that book. It's much more Christian oriented. It is published by Zondervan, so that kind of tells you what perspective it's coming from. It's obviously written as an evangelical kind of purpose behind it. So yeah, but it was an enjoyable book. It was. It did kind of get into a little bit of the Montreal Screwjob. Did talk about his reconciliation with Bret Hart, which was pretty interesting to read. I enjoyed that. So that's one good thing. At least I got to finish that finally, and got to watch a whole bunch of documentaries. Like I watched the band The Last Waltz. I got to see. Got to watch Purple Rain. I haven't watched that in years. I saw an Oxtail. It was a documentary based on John Entwistle. And my wife had purchased the newest series from Swamp Thing series, which was on DC. Had their own streaming service for a very brief while, and I got to watch that. So that was got to watch a little bit of that. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, if you can get anything out of being sick, at least I got to see some of that. And unfortunately, I was sick during Waylon's birthday. My son Waylon's birthday was on the 24th, and unfortunately, I was sick during that. But I got to see the key moments. I got to see him unwrap his presents. Got to be there for supper and make. And for the birthday cake and whatnot, and we got to do a piñata. So I was there for most of the highlights. So, but unfortunately, I was sick through that, and he got sick a couple days later, which was awful. He had a fever of about 104, unfortunately, and but he bounced back like a champ. He was running around like nothing happened within a day or two. So, yeah, he had fever for one day, and that was the end of it. But yeah, happy birthday to him. His 4th birthday. I got to watch a documentary on the Bluebird in Nashville too, which was really cool. Bluebird Cafe, which is someplace I hope to play sometime in the future. But like I said, if there's anything good that comes out of being sick, it's at least the fact that I got to kind of rest and catch up on reading and watching some things. Man, I got to watch some great football, too. Boy, Chiefs learned that Cincinnati is no joke, huh? Wow. Cincinnati pulled off that stunner against the Chiefs on Sunday. I got to see the Rams beat the Niners. I mean, that was a good weekend. If you told me at the beginning of the year that the Super Bowl was going to be the Bengals versus the Rams, I would have told you you're absolutely insane. But that's who it's going to be. So interesting. Obviously some news on the Raiders. The Raiders hired a new GM, which he was previous director of personnel with the Patriots, which I think that's a pretty decent choice. I'm not 100% sure they should have fired Mike Mayock to begin with. I mean, Mayock had some great drafts in the later rounds. Most of the drafts that we had issues with, which were the earlier rounds, were based off of John Gruden's picks. So, I mean, Mayock pulled up some great draft choices later on, especially like you look at somebody like Max Crosby, who was a diamond in the rough right there, and we snagged that one for nothing, in the later rounds. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure that firing Mayock was the right choice. And then it looks like we're going to end up with Josh McDaniel as a head coach, which I'm not really sure I like either. But, I mean, Rich Bisaccia did a really good job of rallying this team and pulling things through. And I'm not sure that now we've got to now Derek Carr's got to adjust to another offensive coordinator. We got to get another defensive coordinator who Gus Bradley did a great job of turning this defense around, and I'm not sure I'm real happy with that, but it is what it is, and best of luck to Bisaccia. I really hope he gets a head coaching job somewhere because he did a great job, with this organization. So I'm hoping that somebody picks him up and then utilizes his talents. And from everything I could see, he appears to be a great guy, just a heck of a character guy. So, and he's a phenomenal special teams coach. So absolute best of luck to him. I'm not sure that Mark Davis made the right decisions there, but but it is what it is, and time will tell. It's going to be a fun Super Bowl. I'm looking forward to it, but if you told me that this would have been the matchup early on, I would have told you you're insane. But I think that's about all I have to talk about. This is non-wrestling related. Obviously it's been an interesting week wrestling too, because Dynamite had a great episode. I really wish they'd stop giving away pay-per-view matches on a weekly basis. This episode was good, but actually it was excellent, but why are they giving this stuff away for free? It's just insane. This is stuff that should be on pay-per-views. I mean, ladder matches for the TBS title or TNT title, whatever they're calling it now. It is still TNT title, sorry. But it's just crazy. I don't know how they expect to sustain this kind of thing. They can't keep trying to get a cheap pop in the ratings continuously. It's not going to work anymore. People are going to get tired of it and going to need a storyline to follow. And like I said, the ladder match between Cody and Sammy was great. Sammy won, and I'm really happy about that. That's who should have won. Cody doesn't need the belt, and he shouldn't have it. And it was stupid to put him on there unless they're utilizing this to turn him even more heel, because whether they want to or not, he's turning heel. People can't stand him anymore. I hate to say it, but Cody Rhodes comes out in this getup, and I'm not sure if he's supposed to be Homelander or if he's supposed to be Judge Dredd. It's just very pompous looking, some great spots. I mean, that cutter off of the top of the ladder was scary. It was terrifying. They also had a suplex off the top ladder. I mean, it was a good match, but man, they gotta stop giving these matches away. And there were a couple of decent psychology moments. Like I liked when Sammy trapped Cody with the ladder. I mean, that's something that should be done a lot more. You've got to utilize what's in the ring for your strategy, and that was a good spot. Something that simple just adds so much to the match. We even saw Crossroads off the top of the ladder. That's just too many spots, and just too crazy for a match that you're giving away on television. Just kind of dumb. But I didn't like the spot where Guevara came off the ladder outside. He had plenty of time to go get the belt, and it didn't make sense for him. That was one psychology-wise, one instance I did not like with the match, but yeah, I'm really happy that Sammy won. I'm really happy to see him get the strap back. And we had another awesome exchange between MJF and CM Punk. I mean, how do you expect any less? These are two of the best talkers in the business right now, and they're playing awesome off of each other. And I love how this is a slow build. They're not rushing anything. MJF is kind of doing the whole thing. You got to get through everybody in the Pinnacle to get to me kind of thing, which he did to Jericho, did to Trials of Jericho, but it kind of makes sense. He's playing the chicken heel, and he's playing it very well. He's playing it beautifully. I mean, these two guys playing off each other are doing great, And I kind of liked how Wardlow kind of had a split second where you thought that he was going to turn on MJF, and you kind of hear the crowd start to pop a little. That was good too. Kind of a little bit of foreshadowing there. So they're doing some good stuff. In addition to that, I kind of like where the House of Black is going with the Pac feud. That's really starting to kind of capture my interest. I'm a big Malachi Black fan, so to see that's giving me some hope. Hopefully they integrate them into some more of the tag team division, because that's going to be fun to watch. Then, of course, the main event was Adam Cole versus Orange Cassidy. I mean, a surprisingly good match. I mean, a lot more serious than I thought it would be, up until, of course, the instance that everyone is talking about where Danhausen appears from under the ring. And actually, I missed it the first time. I had to rewind the video to see it because it happened so quickly. Adam Cole was tugging at a chair, and Danhausen was holding on to it underneath there. I really enjoy it. I'm a Danhausen fan, so seeing him come over to AEW is really is going to be really fun. I just hope they utilize him properly, because I think that's going to be great. Even a team up between him and Orange Cassidy, I think, would be interesting. Have a real fun comedy duo with them, because that might work. Overall, once again, some good psychology in the match. I kind of stayed away from some what could have been some comedy moments, which I'm happy about that. But once again, why are they giving away these matches? It's just insane to give this stuff away on network television. It's crazy. They gotta save some of this stuff for pay-per-views. I don't understand why they're doing it, because it's really not reflecting in the ratings the way it should be. I mean, you would think by giving this stuff away, they would have double the ratings that they do, and they don't. And I think part of the reason is because they're not utilizing their storytelling abilities to the full extent. They're just kind of throwing stuff out there, and man, they're putting on great shows, but This should have been a culmination of a bunch of different feuds at a pay-per-view. This shouldn't have been a throwaway episode on TV, And you contrast it to Rampage, which was really kind of a snoozer. I really didn't enjoy Rampage at all this week, so it's kind of they've got to tighten their booking up. AEW has to get their act together as far as that goes, because they're almost looking schizophrenic as far as their booking, and it's not enjoyable to watch. I really enjoy the product. Like I said, great Dynamite, but this is a Dynamite that should have been pay-per-view. In other news, it looks like WWE signed a deal with Disney so that they can be available in Indonesia. I wouldn't read too much into this. I don't think they're being sold to Disney. I don't think anything. I just think that's another way for them to distribute their product into a country where they weren't available previously. So I don't see this being too big of a deal. I got to watch a little bit of NWUSA. I didn't see Power online, so I watched NWUSA. I hadn't seen the British Invasion in a long time. That was pretty cool to see Doug Williams team back up with Nick Aldis. So, haven't seen them since their TNA days, So yeah, that was pretty interesting. I also got to watch Memphis Championship Wrestling, which is local here, obviously. They're featuring a lot of AEW wrestlers, which is kind of weird. Like, their main event was Brian Cage versus Joey Janela. Previous to this, they've had Thunder Rosa on there. They've had some TNA people on there. They've had they had Lance Archer, I should say, on there. They've had a ton of AEW talent on their program, So it's gets to highlight some of the local guys, and the main event is usually some top-notch talent. So that's pretty cool. You can find their stuff right on YouTube. It broadcasts locally here on CW30, but in Memphis. But they also upload all the episodes to YouTube. So it's really cool to watch that. Of course, the big event this weekend, though, the Royal Rumble. Not too many surprises. Melina surprised me. I didn't realize she was going to be in it. That was pretty wild. Seeing an NWA talent like that coming in, they kind of, I think they eliminated her in like 30 seconds, but I didn't expect that at all. Mickie James we knew about. That was awesome, seeing her come down with the Impact Women's Championship and everything. That was really cool. And seeing Mickie James in WWE getting the respect she deserves, not having her belongings delivered to her in a garbage bag is really felt good, because she has been a trailblazer within the sport. She's been one of the greatest women wrestlers around, and to see her finally get more respect from WWE was refreshing, and it was really cool. Obviously she was eliminated by Lita. I'm not sure where they go with that, because I don't know if that's just a one-off, which I would assume, because they probably just wanted her eliminated by another legend, just so it doesn't create the potential for any storyline within any of the existing currently on the roster women. So I guess that was a convenient out for them. Let's have Lita eliminate her. I think that's the strategy behind that, Would have liked to have seen her probably get a little bit further, but hey, I don't think it tarnishes the TNA belt or her all that much, Sarah Logan showing up, really cool. Having her reunite with Liv Morgan. That's seeing the Riot Squad partially together. Obviously, I can't get Ruby Riot, but I mean, that was pretty cool. I was hoping to see a couple more real surprises, Bella Twins, I couldn't care less about, Michelle McCool coming back is pretty cool, but, that other than that, like Kelly, who really cares about Kelly coming back? That means nothing to me. Having some other independents come up or whatnot would have been pretty cool. But overall, it's a fun little match, and Rumble always is, and of course Ronda Rousey winning the whole thing. We kind of knew Ronda was going to be there. There have been rumors floating around for a week or two now, and her coming in when she did was cool, and creates the potential for some really good matches between her and Becky or whatever. It's I'm happy to see that. That should improve things a lot in the women's division, WWE. We had Bobby Lashley pin Lesnar, which was I like that for its storyline. I think it legitimizes Bobby Lashley, and I like that. I guess there was a ref bump involved and whatnot. Some ref bumps I did see. I didn't get to watch the whole pay-per-view, unfortunately. I did see bits and pieces of it, and I did see where there were a couple occasions where there were some bumps which didn't allow the ref to count, which that always sucks. I hate when WWE overutilizes that. I hate that, but the fact that Lashley pinned him, speaks volumes, I think. And I know he had him in the lock beforehand. It looked like at one point almost Lesnar was going to submit, but that having a somewhat clean win over Lesnar puts Lashley up there, and I like the fact that they built him up more instead of breaking him down. And of course Lesnar was the last entrance in the men's Royal Rumble. You know, that's and won it all. So that was pretty surprising. That's pretty cool. You know, we had Edge and Beth defeat Miz and Maurice. Maurice, no real big shocker there. That's not real big surprising. It's kind of cool to see kind of a Gaga match and having the baby faces win that. You know, Beth looked jacked to the gills, which was you know, she looks like she could be a lot of men in the ring. She was you know, for someone that's been out of the ring for a while, she looked like she was in fighting shape, you know. And of course, we had Becky Lynch defeat Doudrop. Like you couldn't see that coming a mile away, you know. But I hope they do more of Doudrop and get rid of that god awful name, you know. And of course, Seth Rollins defeated Roman Reigns. Not sure where you go from there, but that's you know, we've seen that match before, and there's nothing real crazy or exciting about that. So Seth Rollins really hasn't done anything in a while that's entertained me. At least Roman Reigns has built up his character and become better on the mic and built up this whole head of the family thing, and he's really improved a lot, I think. So, but Rollins keeps throwing stuff against the wall, and some of the stuff works, some of the stuff, I'd say the vast majority of it doesn't, you know, but still, you know, a couple of Shield references, whatever. It was kind of, you know, nothing real big there, but you know, I'm gonna have to try to get a hold of watch the thing in its entirety, really, before I form a final opinion. But the Royal Rumble is always a good time. It's one of my absolute favorite pay-per-views. You know, you got that, Survivor Series, and WrestleMania. And WrestleMania lately has been boring and god-awful. So really, Rumble and Survivor Series has been it for me, kind of. So, but it's always fun to see some surprise entrants. Nothing real surprising on the men's side. I mean, who would the listeners have liked seeing? You know, I would have liked to have seen some NWA guys or some ROH guys or something. Just one-offs that would have been fun to see some guy. Oh, they had Johnny Knoxville in there. Big whoop. I mean, really, that's a throwaway entrant to someone who could have possibly been somebody a heck of a lot better, you know. The Bad Bunny thing, I don't mind him at all. He looks pretty good in the ring, and he doesn't embarrass himself, so I don't mind seeing Bad Bunny in there. You know, Shane McMahon, there was a lot of controversy because of that. I think a lot of people think he was taking somebody else's spot. I don't know. I mean, I don't mind it. You know, it's a legend making a reappearance, so I don't mind it at all. I'm just grateful they didn't try to do something stupid like trying to get, you know, Undertaker to show up or something silly like that would have been a blemish on his legacy. But yeah, overall, like I said, you know, Rumble's always fun to me. Always some surprises. Nothing real big this year, but hey, there were still some cool things that happened. So yeah, let's on that note, let's try to bring things to an end here. Let's try to end things out here on the show. Like I said, I'm starting to get really winded here because thanks to COVID. But I'd like to give a shout out to Then and Now Flea Market, downtown Trenton, Tennessee. You know, then now you can go down there, you know, tell them Crushing Kayfabe sent you, and you can purchase one of my CDs there. You can purchase some really cool handmade items from my wife. And you can purchase some really cool craft items and some really cool new stuff from people in the area. You know, there are a ton of vendors there, and there's some really good stuff. You know, pretty much anything you want, you can find at that place. So Then and Now Flea Market, right in downtown Trenton, Tennessee. You know, give a shout out to Lucky Lady Candles. You can find them on Facebook and on Etsy. I've bought their product in the past. It's really good. Especially with Valentine's Day coming up, now's the time to order. Get your stuff in time, you know. So go out and order some candles. You know, nothing more romantic than some candles. I'd like to give a shout out to ourselves. CrushingKayfabe.com, crushing with a K. CrushingKayfabe.com. You can go on there. You can catch the latest episodes. You can get some merchandise in our store and support the show. And follow up on see what kind of events and things we've got happening. Follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and now Patreon too. So patreon.com, do a search for Crushing Kayfabe, and for just $1 a month, you can get all of our episodes ad-free. So you can get the audio to every episode uninterrupted with no ads. So that's a really cool thing. And we'll have additional freebies. I shouldn't say freebies because you'll be paying $1 for it, but additional incentives that aren't available to the general public on there too in the future. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and you'll be supporting the podcast and helping us keep the lights on. So I appreciate that. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and everyone out there, be safe, God bless, and thank you for listening.